Tribe. Welcome to episode 7 of the ZarCast. Hope you missed us. We certainly missed doing the show, and by we, I mean my quite missable co-hosts and I. We have very special guests joining us today as well. And before I get to that, though, allow me to say good morning to D22. Good morning, D22.
Hey, good morning, Dante. Good morning, Positive Q. I'm super pumped up. I'm a numbers guy, and I mean, most people consider number 7 a lucky number. And yeah, today's episode 7 of a ZarCast, so I'm super pumped up and ready to do this.
That's a cool point. Yeah, I mean, I think our listeners and ourselves are very lucky with the 7th episode guest we have too. I think it's going to be awesome. And also our good buddy, Positive Q. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Tribe Quokka. I am happy to be here. I am also amazed that people have decided to listen to the three of us drone on up to episode 7. I'm honored by your patronage and happy to try and provide more value today. So looking forward to the show.
Yeah, this is going to be a really, really big one. So we're gonna try something a little different. Instead of just bringing our guest on at the end of the show, we're going to play a game at the top of the show here called Guess the Guest. And I'm going to give some clues to my co-hosts about our guest now. And then they're going to guess who it is. And then later on, when that person signs on to our podcast, they'll see if they were correct or not. All right. So here we go. This guest is not a locally grown tribesman. So not one from the Medford Lakes area. This guest has a cousin in the tribe and in the Discord that's active. This guest probably had a Terry Bradshaw poster on his wall as a kid. This guest was one of the first people to reach out to us and say that he loved the podcast and even offered us a gift. This guest believes that creativity plus good design will save the world. This guest has a gold Terminator hoodie up PFP with a really sick banner in Discord. He is listed as Virtuoso on the founders page. This guest is incredibly talented and responsible for so much joy in our community. And that's all I'm going to say. Does anyone have a guess at who this guest might be?
I think I got it, but if you want to go first, D22, I'll let you go.
I mean, I got it. You made it too easy with one of the hints.
The PFP gave it away. I mean, because that's unmistakable.
So it's Bro-ba, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. It's Bro-ba Fett. So
yeah, all right, that's exciting, man.
Yeah. And I live in the same town as Bro-ba, obviously, and did not know that he was not local because I didn't grow up here. So I at first I never would have thought of him, but the PFP was a dead giveaway. We're gonna have to skip the PFPs going on. As soon as you said it, I'm like, that's it. No other choice.
All right. Well, good. No, I won't include that next time. Yeah. Apparently, well, he can tell us where he's from if he wants to, but Cuz Ed in Discord is actually his older cousin. So.
By the way, yeah, shout out to him, to Bro-ba, for the t-shirts he designed for the ZarCast crew. Yeah, we saw one of the samples at the last event and it looks awesome, so we definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, I thought that was really awesome, just to know that he was listening to the show and then heard us say that we like that particular trait and would actually like to see that as an actual item, and then he just went out and did it. I thought that was really cool. One of those moments that makes doing the show worth it. All right, so we have a lot to discuss today, as always, or in podcast terms, a lot to unpack. So let's start with the news from Monday's weekly status call. But before I talk about that, D22. As someone who has been involved in crypto for a while and a few other NFT projects, how valuable and how unique are these weekly status calls? Because it seems to me that this is a very underrated aspect of Tribe Quokka.
Yeah, and you have 100% correct with the fact that the founders and the way that they communicate, as much as you can understand who they are, what they studied, what credibility they have, but even how they perform, right? How do they put the plan in action? Because there's a lot of people out there that have these great ideas, and the great ideas may be like actually something that works out someday, but you need to know how to execute them. And so some people are just idea peoples, but when it comes to execution, they're not organized, they're not experienced in that type of thing, and they come into a bunch of problems and then give up, and the vision never comes to pass. With Tribe Quokka, we have 6 founders. I know at least 3 of them are very successful business owners, and they've been in business for more than 30 years. And so they've been through the ups and downs of starting a business and making mistakes and not being organized or whatever last minute problems you can encounter, when you're starting a business and you've never done it before. But these guys, in the weekly status call, it's a perfect example. You get an email before the call with the Zoom, the Zoom address, and then the next day you get a recording of the weekly status call. And every single week they're bringing new things that they are planning or executing on, and they hit their deadlines, they hit their mint dates. It's just excellence. They do everything with excellence, and they do it in a way that it just, it definitely, as an investment standpoint, it gives a lot of confidence.
Yeah, I agree. Somehow it's sort of like a sense of security that they're still right there. The founders are all on those calls. Dr. Doofus is right there with his camera on, so you see him, and it gives you that feeling like, okay, these guys aren't going anywhere. They haven't missed a week, unless they like pushed it off for like an event, right? So yeah, I just feel like it's a really good sense of security that those calls provide. PQ, what do you think?
I couldn't agree more. We even have the luxury of sometimes being involved in conversations where we know a little bit more right before it happens, just because they're filling us in for these purposes. But I still listen to every single Monday Zoom call because I always get information, and I feel better about the project. Sometimes, you have a down week, you're a little down on something, you get on there, you see Brett's energy, and you see the direction that they're going, and a lot of it comes together, and it definitely is a service that they provide that they don't have to. They could have just put out the project and said, hey, we'll watch it grow, and they didn't. They're dedicated to being a huge part of that growth and keeping the community involved, so the community stays involved with the growth as well.
Yeah, excellent point. Yep. Yeah, so I don't know, to the founders, just thank you from us, and I'm sure all the listeners for doing those for us each week. I don't know if you hear that too often, but yeah, we appreciate that a great deal. So speaking of the call this week, the first thing Doc mentioned, besides Canoe Carnival, positive might want to share some of his
I cannot tell those stories on air.
I thought that might be what you had said. Yeah. But after he mentioned that, he mentioned that we broke the 500 ETH wall last week. So positive Q. I don't know if you want to talk about that now or save that for the OSR.
No, I'll talk about it now. It's huge, without a doubt. And if anybody doesn't know about Canoe Carnival, in Medford Lakes, we have basically a town-wide party once a year. It's always the first weekend in August. If you ever get a chance, if you're ever around, you should stop by. But when somebody from outside of town asks me to describe it, I basically say that it is our town's annual celebration of boats and binge drinking. And that's what we do from Friday till generally Sunday evening-ish. But it was a great time, and always a lot of fun. So if you're ever in town, make sure you hit me up, and I'll make sure that you are at the party I am at. But more importantly, crossing the 500 ETH mark is huge, and it's huge for a lot of reasons, because we are not a project that's selling, small numbers, piece over piece over piece over piece, where you got 50 moving a day. That's not who we are. We have dedicated holders and dedicated community, and people wanting to join that community. And as you watch, I track these numbers weekly, and you don't see some huge volume week coming out of a mint You don't see some huge thing that's going on that drives volume, then it sloughs off. The tribe has slow and steady and continuously grown and continue to sell, and you know floor price creeps up dollar wise and ETH wise week over week, and to hit those milestone numbers is a huge achievement, and it's just a credit not only to our founders for what they started, but our community for what we've continued. And I love seeing those milestones. I like seeing the numbers week over week and watching that steady progression, because I know it'll go from 500 to 1,000. I know it'll go from 1,000 to 2,000. As we get bigger, as we get bolder, as we get more in down the roadmap, I think we're going to start seeing those numbers come quicker. But I think it's a credit to everyone involved, and I think it's a huge deal that deserved to be celebrated.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think to your point, like a lot of times, even when we do see Tribe Quokka members selling their Quokkas, it's to buy more Quokkas, right? Like that's what they're, if I'm ever selling one, it's because I want the ETH to buy one that's available at the time.
I see that a lot. We see it in the Zar. I mean, we're in the Zar all day.
Yeah.
And we see that a lot. It's like, I'm looking to grab this guy, so I got to sell this guy. I understand not everybody has the cash on hand to go buy ETH to do that, but people aren't looking to divest from our community. People are looking to stay invested, upgrade within our community, and new people are wanting to come in, and I think it's awesome to see.
Yeah,
that's awesome, man. And I wanted to comment real quick on the fact that it's actually real unique of our tribe that most of the community is our base community, a couple thousand holders. They're mostly all local grassroots that know one of the founders and trust him so much that they were like, okay, I don't know what an NFT is, but I trust you. I've seen how you've succeeded throughout the years, and I trust you. And so most of these NFT projects, and I mean, there's new mints every week, right? Like it's crazy. Most of them are, just some random person on the internet, and they either are great artists, or they are great at marketing, or they have a lot of, influencers that promote it. And then you get all these people that invest in a project, but they don't really know who you are, the founders. They don't know anything of what you're about, and they're just speculating to make a profit, or they collect, because they like the art. But in our case, it's just, we have a solid backbone of people that trust the founders and are just holding for the long term. And just like you said, positive Q, slow and steady. I love that about, our founders. They're not trying to hype this thing up to make a quick buck. They're going, slowly but surely, and they're hitting every single milestone, every single date that they put out to do something. They make it happen. And with time, people will notice, man, these guys are the real deal. So it's only a matter of time that we keep growing in volume and, expanding into a broader NFT community. And 500 ETH, I mean, it speaks a lot, especially us holding this floor, over $1,000 floor. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, it really, really is. So then the big buzz right now is obviously Quokka Kids. It was brought up that on Thursday, September 8th at 6 p.m., there's going to be another in real life event at Haka Labs, and our own Positive Q is going to be a major player at that event. PQ, you want to give us just a brief explanation of what you might be doing there?
I wouldn't say major player. I'd say a guy with a beer in the corner who likes talking about Quokkas. But I appreciate that. I don't think of it that way.
Three beers in the corner. Then three. You mean?
No, it was really nice for Brett to mention it, and to offer to do it. I've really enjoyed looking at, as everybody knows, the investment value of what we're doing, and as we go through, there's moves that are made for art, there's moves that are made for community, and there's moves that are made for investment, and I generally speak more to the latter. And as we get closer to Quokka Kids, I've dedicated some time to really breaking down sales over time and using some gambling theory about, odds better versus odds worse. I've come up with what I think, and my opinion, what the best investment strategies for B when you're trying to min Quokka kids. So to be asked to be at the event, to talk to people about it, to basically look at their wallet and say, like, I would definitely match these two. I might hold off on these two. These guys are spinning the wheel. I think that would be a lot of fun for me. It was basically, just putting me in an environment of something I love to talk about. So, other than dogs and log cabins, pretty much matching Quokkas for Quokka kids is one of my favorite topics right now. So I am really looking forward to it. I've been at both of the other events at Miles Technology, Haka Labs, and I'm looking forward to this one. I did miss New York and Wildwood, unfortunately. So I think I'm really, I think it's going to be a great opportunity for me to connect with some of the people that I haven't met in person since we really started getting out there in the community.
PQ, I want to say this real quick. Man, we definitely have to have the PQ certified appraisal. You could just stamp it, make up your logo, PQ certified, and I mean that would fetch top dollar on OpenSea. Like if you certified your appraisal, you're getting the fair price. Yeah, we definitely have to do that.
I get it. I'm finding lately that nobody's listening to me. Like I'll give them the number and they'll be like, "Yeah, I'm going to list it ETH higher than that." I'm like, okay,
Well,
feel free.
and I apologize. I didn't mean to disrespect you. And you.
Oh no, that wasn't you. That's happened multiple times. Don't worry about it. It's
so
not.
I know
you.
I did that,
Yeah.
but honestly, the reason. So I got your appraisal, and I was like, man, he surely he is right. But guess what? I'm not in a hurry right now to sell this one, so I'm just gonna list it a little higher. If someone really likes it, they'll buy it, and if not, I can always bring the price down a little bit if needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
no, that was good.
I was going to say the other thing when we talk about the appraisals, which if anybody's new to listening to the podcast, if anybody DMs me and they want to know what I believe the value of their Quokka is, I will do it on DM. I will never release it on the Zar. I will never talk about the number we talked about. I will just give you my fair assessment of what I can believe it will sell for. And I'm willing to do that for anybody in the community, anybody who holds a Quokka. But I think what a lot of people don't realize is as I'm going through that, I always factor in the current price of ETH. And a lot of people maybe don't understand why I do that. And the reason why is because with our current investor community, a lot of people aren't stocking ETH. They don't have a large vault of crypto that they're reaching in to get to. So that crypto went up as the market went up. They're pulling money out of their checking account to buy ETH to make a move for Quokka. And so that has a direct relation back to the US dollar. And that needs to be factored in when you're looking at honest price. So that's I've seen a couple of that lately, especially as ETH has gone up. People have been a little disappointed in my number, but I want them to know that, and I explain it to them individually. But that's why you're seeing that right now.
Yeah, and it's correct. Like Dee's referring to a white animal fur, and I also had a white animal fur on the market at this around the same time, and we were both looking for a much higher price, and it just wasn't going to move. And then, as you just saw the other day, someone put a white animal fur much closer to positive Q's number, and boom, it was gone. So
and honestly, any specific trait or type of Quokka, like all you have to do, right, to get at least a close enough idea of what people would be willing to pay is you look at the last 3 or 4 that sold of that same trait. And I mean, you can't expect to get a ETH more than whatever than everything else that is sold. Like you got to be a little bit more down to earth with what people have been willing to pay for that particular one.
Exactly. All right. And speaking of what people are willing to pay, that leads right into our next topic, which is we recently learned that the mint price for the Quokka Kid orphans, as they're affectionately being called, is going to be 0.5. So how do you guys feel about that price?
I'll go first. It is exciting and a little bit scary to me at the same time. I would think of it like a little bit of butterflies in my stomach about that one, because I think it's a great price. I believe in setting a value of something as what you think it's worth. You don't create a diamond ring and price it for $5 because you want to make everybody happy with your price of diamond ring. You know, if it's worth $10,000, you price it at $10,000. And I believe that the Quokka kids are going to be worth that. And I believe it helps drive up the sales within the entire ecosystem of Tribe Quokka, and it will be valuable in the end. The part that makes me nervous, and I speak directly to a lot of people in the community, is we got a diamond hand this one, without a doubt. Because if we don't, then we have a chance to shoot ourselves in the foot. And I hope that everybody listening knows that this is done specifically and intentionally to show value in something and create future value for everyone that's holding. And a quick buck could end up costing you 100 later. And I want to remind everybody of that. That's the part that makes me nervous. You know, I'm always been an advocate of it's yours. You can do what you want with it. I'm never going to badmouth anybody for selling anything, but my honest hope is that everybody diamond hands these things just like I will.
Yeah. I mean, at the very least until December, right? Because that's, you're really getting at 0.5, you're getting two. You're getting the Quokka kid and the
Battle bird. Battle birds.
Yeah. So if you want to just look at it that way and say a Quokka kid is worth 0.3 to you, but in the battle bird is worth 0.2, then there you go. There's 0.5, no problem. But who knows? I mean, I think these battle birds, if they're the first thing that people are going to be actually be able to play in the metaverse, who knows what they're going to be worth? Oh my gosh.
Agree 100%.
Man, and I mean, yeah, I think the 0.5 ETH mint price super strong. It just shows how much confidence our founders have and what they're creating. Lots of people that come up with another collection, they're just going to try to go out at the standard cheapest price, try to get it out there. Because guess what? I mean, I work in sales. That's what I do for a living, right? I buy and sell stuff. And there's two types of products, so to speak. So you can have quality, right? And you can have good service and you can have good utility, or you can be the cheapest in the market. And so if you're the cheapest, it's a lot easier. Everyone is looking for, value and looking for a deal. And so it's a lot easier to do business if you're the cheapest in the market. It's easier to sell your stuff now to make a profit or to be successful in the long term. Very hard if you're going to be the cheapest, because there's always going to be someone trying to undercut you. But if you come with quality and service, and great utility, and that's what, stands out about Tribe Quokka. They're able to do this. We're able to come out at 0.5. And listen, for us holders of Genesis collection, I mean, this is tremendous. For every 2 Quokkas, you're getting a Quokka kid that's worth 0.5 if you're going to straight up buy it. It's great. I agree with Positive Q. It's going to be up to us to be diamond handed. And listen, like, I get it. We've been holding Quokkas for a while, and this is kind of our payout for holding this long with the Quokka kids. Like, we get rewarded with this airdrop. And so I'm curious to see, how people value it and how much they post it for. They list it on OpenSea. I also know, I mean, realistically, it's going to be a challenge to mint out. It's not an easy task to mint out. So it's 12,000 the collection, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
so
correct.
Then 4,000 airdrop. So we got still 8,000 that we have to sell to mint out. So I believe in our team. I think we can do it. But I also know it's a little harder to make this happen. Last time we minted out in less than an hour. Let's see how long it takes this time.
Yep. Yeah. And there's hope, because when we minted out the first time, it was basically just our community, right? And now we're sort of, we're much more relevant in the space. So there's a lot of people with more eyes on us than that time. So, there's a good chance it could happen.
And real quick, I mean, if you look at the pictures, I mean, the 3 I've seen, they look, I mean, I was more than satisfied when I saw the first sample of them. They just look freaking cool.
Very cool, very punky. I think we're going to be in for a real treat when we see all of those revealed. And I just can't wait until we start seeing those package deals in the Zar, right? Seeing, the parents with the Quokka kid up for trade. That's going to be really fun.
I love it.
And speaking of the Quokka kids and traits, I just wanted to just give a quick shout out to Bizzle, who is always so amazing on his spaces, and another person who just week after week is just bringing it to the community. And he gave us a really nice shout out last night. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. And also, talk about one of the things that happened on Spaces last night was they asked for what you would like to see as traits in the Quokka Kid collection. I mentioned I would like to see some sort of back accessories, like backpacks, like maybe like a wooden sword sticking out the back, or like a slingshot, because that's kind of the vibe I got when I looked at those three, that they're just like some kids out there looking to get into a little bit of mischief. Maybe like an old school paper boy bag with some paper sticking out, capes, anything like that I think would be kind of cool. And I was happy to hear there are going to be some back accessories on some of them. I also was thinking later, just like a classic red zip up hoodie with like the front pockets, like the kangaroo pouch pockets in the front. That just reminds me of being a kid, just having those zip up hoodies and running out the door on a nice crisp fall day. So what would you guys like to see? PQ, what do you think would be cool?
I think there's a lot of cool things. Most of the traits I think of remind me more of like a Legends collection. So I think of like the kids from the Sandlot. I would love to see that. I think those kind of things. So, I everything I think of, it's like it must be my experience from movies. But if you come up with a couple, like, so we have the surfboards that are really popular in our collection. Anytime I've seen one, it moves with it instantly. So, you do skateboards, you do things like that. I think they would be really cool, but everything else I come up with, it's like Little Rascals or Sandlot. So I'm apparently not that creative in this process.
Now, someone mentioned the little hat with the propeller on the top.
Yeah.
Who's that? What was that? Spanky or something like that?
Yeah.
D, what do you want to see?
Yeah, it would be cool to see like headphones or Bluetooth on the ears, just tech stuff that's irrelevant for the times we live in. And yeah, it would be cool, I guess, to see like different types of like stereotypical, teenagers. So you got like the dorks, and then you got like the cool crowds or the jocks, and all these. Then you got like the skaters or the punk rock type of kids. And so yeah, that would be cool to see some accessories that would match that different types of personalities that you usually see in kids.
Yeah, I think a lot of people last night were talking about the nerds, and I think they had some really awesome ideas. But I also think some sporto kids would be cool too, like maybe like you were mentioning Sandlot, maybe like a batting helmet, on one of them.
By the way, before we continue, I also would love to, just give a shout out to Bizzle as well, and double up on what you said, Dante. Like, yeah, he's been in Tribe Quokka since the very start. Like he shared when he was a guest on the ZarCast. And I personally really appreciate all the hard work, Bizzle, that he does. And yeah, man, like every single Tribe Quokka holder should be grateful, of the things that he does, man. He's doing the spaces and always like promoting Tribe Quokka, and it brings value to our community. So thank you.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, this brings us to the segment of the show where we have D22 bringing us his crypto corner. So D, take it away.
All right, man. Well, it's an exciting day to be holding some crypto because the market is pumping, and I'm gonna look at the charts right now, because when I was doing the numbers this morning, it was at 1700 ETH was, and we had a little run up, and we actually broke resistance. Our resistance level was 1800. And it's funny, I wanted to actually have a little recording of I think it was our second episode, man, that I did the first crypto corner, and ETH was like at 900 or 1000. And we looked at all the resistance, and 1800 was the one that we talked about. This was like, more than a month ago. And, today is the day that we're hitting that resistance, and we actually broke it. So right now, our next resistance level on the 1 day chart is 2400. And so, now the resistance has become kind of a support. I want to see if it holds at 18. If it does, we may see a run up to 2000 and maybe even 2400. If I had to guess, I would say the market at some point will retrace. I don't think we've hit a bottom as a market, but I mean, with inflation and all the different things going on in the world with the wars, and you just never know if there's going to be some type of black swan event that, you know, makes the market react in a certain way, in a volatile way. So it can go either way, up or down. But yeah, so that's what it is with Ethereum. And today, what I want to talk about is staking. So for me as a crypto investor, you know, when I first got started, I would just use Coinbase. I would buy my coins and I would wait, and that's all I did. I wouldn't trust anyone else. I didn't want to move my coins out of Coinbase, and you know, and that's how most of us start off. Like we're really skeptical of, you know, sending crypto to these crazy addresses, and it's not normal. Usually you go to the bank and you sign papers, and here it's just this wild random number, and you send it there and you got to trust everything's going to be all right. But you know, as you go deeper into Web3, you get used to this type of stuff. So anyway, throughout the years of buying and selling crypto, this is the strategy that I've come up with that works for me best. And it is this: you know, look into the projects you like, look into the founders, make sure you understand what they're trying to do, and then you start buying. And you buy, you don't try to guess the market, you buy the dips and then you hold. But what I wanted to talk about today is staking. And staking is just earning interest on your money. So think about it as having a, you know, a savings account, and you're earning some type of interest on it, or you know, any other type of fund that you can deposit the money and get X amount back. So with staking, there's two main ways that you can earn rewards on your crypto. And listen, if you're like me, an investor that's looking more of a long-term investment, then you can't really try to guess the market and like buy low and try to sell high. You just got to buy for the long run. And the best way to do that, if you're buying for the long term, is to stake your coins, because not only is it easier not to sell them because they're locked up, but also you're earning rewards every single day on your coins. And it's a no-brainer if you're going to be holding them anyway. So there's two types of staking. Number one is just the regular staking option, where you lock up your coins and you're securing the network. Every single coin has some type of form of staking. And the easiest way to do this, if you've never done it before, is using Kraken. So Kraken.com is an exchange, just like Coinbase. And actually, I think Coinbase also released like a earn option. I really haven't looked into it, but Kraken is great. Like you can literally send your coins just like you do to Coinbase, and you can press the button of stake, and you earn interest on your coin. So for example, on Polkadot, you can earn 12 to 15% a year on your coins. And mine, because this is what question I used to have, like you don't get the interest based on the price of the coin, you get paid the interest based on the amount of coins. So you're always being paid in coins, not in dollar amounts. So that's how, you know, the interest rate works. Anyhow, and in Kraken, they have about 10 different coins that they support. You literally just send the coins there, you press the button stake, and then that moves into another account that it's earning rewards. And the good thing about Kraken is that you can withdraw your coins from staking, and it only takes about 10 minutes to withdraw. A lot of the other protocols, like if you go straight to the actual protocol for the coin, where it's more decentralized and, you know, you own your keys and all that, but it does take a lot longer. Like some of them take 28 days to unstake. So if you stake it, you're going to have to wait another 28 days after you press unstake to be able to do anything with your coins. Okay. So anyway, what I suggest is, if you want to get into crypto, all right, and you're looking for long-term investments, find the projects you like and find the way to stake them, so you earn some rewards on your coins. A second way of earning rewards is providing liquidity. Okay, and what this means is, you know, market makers in the traditional sense of the stock market, they are the ones that facilitate the buying and selling of different shares and stocks and options. And so with an autonomous market maker protocol, basically you're going to have two pairs of coins. So let's say you have Bitcoin and you have USDC. So it's a stable coin and Bitcoin. So you provide liquidity to this pool, which means that you are locking up X amount of Bitcoin and then equal amount of value in USDC coin. And then people that buy and sell Bitcoin to USDC use this protocol, and the protocol earns fees. You see how Ethereum, like whenever you do a transaction, there's a fee. Every single protocol has some type of fee. And so when you provide liquidity, what you do is you participate in earning rewards that are paid out depending on how many fees the protocol, charge when people use their protocol. So anyway, you're acting like a bank or a market maker. You're providing your coins so people can buy and sell them, and you're getting rewards on a daily, weekly basis. So the only way you lose on your initial investment and this is something to be mindful of when you provide liquidity, it's called impermanent loss. So impermanent loss happens when one of the coins fluctuates in price, and the other one like stays at the same, so if there's a big difference of price on the coins that you initially put in for the liquidity, then you get charged what is called an impermanent loss. And then when you retire your coins from the liquidity pool, you get slashed 10%, 20%, 30%, depending on the fluctuations. So anyway, that's a little bit of an insight in two different ways of staking your coins and earning rewards. And again, I highly suggest that if you're a long-term holder, there's most likely a way of staking or earning rewards on your coins. It's the way to go. You get free coins and you hold your investment and, compound interest. So yeah, that's all for today in Crypto Corner.
Awesome. I had two questions. One of them you answered already, which was how long do you have to lock up your coins when you stake? And you said that depends, right? So
yeah, it varies. It varies. I mean, there's Kraken, 10 minutes, you can lock them out. You can withdraw. There's other protocols, 8 hours. There's some that's 28 days. There's some that 14 days. It all depends on the tokenomics. Whatever the white paper of that project, they'll describe like their staking procedure and how many days the coins would be locked up.
Okay. And then my next question was, how do you spell that Kraken?
Kraken, yeah, KRAKEN.com. It's it's probably the third biggest exchange. It's right up there with Coinbase and Binance, and then I think Kraken would be the third largest. Very reputable. And again, I will say this. First of all, this is not financial advice. I got to put that disclosure. This is just all my opinions. But also, I will say, with this recent dip, you just never know which of these companies will go down under. And when they do, and if they have to file for bankruptcy, then they sometimes stop withdrawals and your funds can be lost. So just a heads up that that is always a risk when you're dealing with a centralized exchange.
Right, got it. And I 100% agree with what you said about PQ's verified evaluations earlier. And I want to also say that we should be doing some kind of a D22 video tutorials as well for all this to see how all this moves around. That would be awesome.
Yeah, let's make it happen. Whatever we can do to help our community, we're all about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much. That brings us to the OpenSea report with our man Positive Q.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I was taking notes. I don't know if D22 can help me with this because I have a big problem when I buy crypto, is that it sits in my account for at least 7 minutes and then I end up buying a Quokka with it. So it's been a problem. It's not my best long-term crypto strategy. It's a good Quokka strategy, but not necessarily working for the crypto.
That's why you stake, man. Because like if it's gonna take 28 days to unlock, you might as well just leave it there.
Yeah. So no, that's the thing. I'm always like, this time I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna sit. I'm gonna wait, see if it gains a little bit of interest, right?
Yeah.
Or like if the market goes up, and then I see something. I'm like like a kid when they see a shiny object or a cell phone. I'm like, ooh, Quokka, and then I buy that. So it doesn't always work out. So
listen,
all right,
my wife and Rose, thank you for all you do. I love you. My wife is always on me like, when are you gonna? Because I'll sell and then I'll just reinvest it instead of like cashing out.
Yeah. So I know it's a bad habit. So all right, let's get into the OpenSea report because we do have a lot to unpack. Our guest is on the line. So, and yes, we did guess correctly, so I think that one was easy. But wait till you hear the clues, Furno. Dante did not hide this well.
Yeah. Yeah, he gave it away.
So, all right. So let's look at the OpenSea report. If we look at the past 7 days, we're a little bit slower in volume, but pretty much hanging steady. We got 6.8 ETH in volume over the past 7 days, and with a total of 15.8 over the last 14. So we're averaging about 7 to 7.5 per week. That's pretty much holding steady. We have seen a slight decrease in floor. 3 weeks ago, it was at 0.52. 2 weeks ago, at 0.46. And today at 0.42. We're still going to see resistance at 0.4. We don't see anything. Once something moves under 0.4, it's gone. So that is definitely not our resistance. That's our support. So we're going to continue to see that. We have seen it for a long time now. I've said for weeks now that as you see ETH rise, we're going to see that floor settle out. We're gonna see floor level Quokka settle out at about 0.4. And that trend's going to continue for a little bit. So if you see something, if you're looking for value, if you see something below 0.4, you grab it, because it is definitely undervalued at this point. We have proven over and over and over again that we see support at that level, but we'll probably see the floor stay around the 0.42, 0.43 number for a little while. There's always the outliers. There was a couple in the past week that went for like 0.7, but that's basically where we're going to hold. So that would be our OpenSea report. This is normally where I get into picking some floor models for everybody, seeing what we got out there, seeing if we can find some value. But I have long been teasing, and I'm thrilled that our guest is our guest today. I have long been teasing the work I've been doing behind the scenes, trying to match up what I think. And I need to emphasize this point greatly. What I think is the proper strategy that I'm going to use when matching my Quokkas for Quokka kids. And this is based on an investment strategy. This is based on whether I think I can get same or better value for what I'm currently holding. And to do that, I've tracked sales over the last 90 to 120 days. But this is based on just that investment. I cannot say enough that if you have something you like, if you like the look of something, the art of something, then you go for it. I am 100% on your side. And there's some that I'm probably going to do that with myself. So I don't want to disrespect any of the amazing artwork within our collection or any of the amazing furs that Bro-ba and his team have designed. But this is purely where, if I want to say, okay, you want to move up in tracking sales over the past 90 to 120 days. So I want to put that out there. If you like something, I am 100% on your side for you to do what you want with it. All right. So let's get started. Let me give you the basics of what we looked at. I was trying to break things up. So I tracked every sale of every Quokka for the past 120 days. That was daunting in Microsoft Excel, but I took a little bit each day and I did it. And I broke things down into a couple of different categories. Quokkas I would definitely match. Quokkas that I'm either going to say I'm going to take a 50-50 or I'm going to spin the wheel, or I'm possibly going to hold and unmatch, and ones that I would definitely spin the wheel. So I broke those down into 3 different categories, and there's a theory behind it of, there's some gambling theory we're going to get into when you look at what you want to do with them. But let's break it down first. On the first part of it is Quokkas I would definitely match. So they fall into 5 different fur types. And this is all based on sales. These are the highest selling Quokkas across 120 days. They go anywhere from 0.85 to 4.5 ETH. We all know which one that one is. And so we break it down. So Quokkas that you are definitely going to match: animal white, gold, animal black, zombie, and diamond. You're going to find that this entire chart follows exactly along the rarities of the fur. As I did it, all I found was there's a couple of anomalies within each group, but it all breaks down amongst rarities. Now, if you got one of these furs, or you have 2 of any Quokka with any of these furs, you absolutely need to match them, because you have only a chance of going down if you do anything else, by at least 0.2 to 0.3 ETH, depending on what you're doing. Now, I believe there's only 3 people in the entire community that have a 100% chance of getting a diamond, whether it be 2 diamond Quokkas, Genesis, or a diamond Quokka and a legend. And 2 of those 3 are on the phone with us right now. So, but if you got those, you get it done. Zombies definitely match them. Animal black match them, gold match them, animal white match them. If you only have one of these, you want to do a 50-50 shot, because you have a better chance with a 50-50 shot than you do with spinning the wheel, because the spinning the wheel almost gives you an 80% chance of going down, where 50-50 at least gives you a 50% chance of staying where you are. So if you are in any of those categories, animal white, gold, animal black, zombie, or diamond, you definitely want to match, or you want to take your 50-50 chance with those. Next group is the middle group. This is the decision maker group where the gambling theory comes into play. So these are the following furs: the faded beaches, the purple haze, the digi camo, the regular camo, the steel, and the Roy G Biv. Any of those generally fall about 0.2 to 0.3 ETH under animal white, under animal black. So, you know, you got a little less investment value there, and they range anywhere from steel, which surprisingly enough, average sale was 0.53, to camo with an average sale of 0.81. And that was a surprising number when I came up with it, but that's the way the numbers work, and averages are averages. So when you got these, there's a couple of different theories you're going to use here. So if you have 2 different pairs of them, so let's say you got 2 beaches and you got 2 steel, you know, what I would do with them is I would pick one and I would match the one that I like. And if you're going to do it with those 2 examples I just gave you, and by the way, I'm going to publish all of this at the in-person event so you can see all the numbers. But if I did that, the beaches sell higher than the steel. So if I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to take a definite match on one of those 2, I'm going to do it with the beaches over the steel. The steel, I'm either going to do a 50-50 shot, or I'm going to spin the wheel. That one, you definitely want to do beaches. You want to do camo. The others, you can spin the wheel on. If you only have one to pair within this group, then I would pair it, because you once again have a larger chance of going down than you do going up, just because of the sheer numbers that are within the lower ranks, the light brown, the dark brown, and gray. Now, I also forgot to mention, which factored a lot into these decisions, is the 2 new furs that they came out with, which we got the preview of the other day, which are awesome. If you don't spin the wheel, you have 0 chance of getting these. 0. So if you're looking at those percentages, you don't want to play with not getting them if you're going to be under a 0.7, a 0.6 ETH in any of those average numbers, because you might as well try, right? So I heard from a source, which I will not give away, that there's possibly, don't hold me to this, that there's possibly 100 each of those furs. So if there is, they are going to be pretty rare. There would be less of those than there would be of animal white. So that's going to be a pretty rare fur. And if there's none of them out there, then you got a chance at getting them. So keep that in mind. So those ones: beaches, purple haze, digi, camo, steel, and Roy G Biv. Those, if you got more than one pair, match one, spin the wheel on the other. Now, this is the gambling theory. When you're looking at these and you're going to spin the wheel, because you have a decision to make, like you have a digi camo, average sale 0.61. So you're like, I like that number. You know, I don't know if I want to spin the wheel on this guy or I want to do 50-50. Well, then my advice is wait. You don't have to mint on day one. You can mint in 3 months, 6 months, 8 months. So the best equation I could come up with for it, it actually is all based on, without getting too technical, Bayesian mathematics, which is what designs most gaming theory. But the easiest way to think about it is everybody knows what counting cards is in blackjack. So if you're playing blackjack and you see that there's so many face cards on the table or so many numbered cards on the table, you know that you have a better or worse chance to get the other. So if you're wait a week on your mint for your Joeys, for the ones that you're really undecided on, you don't know what to do with your digi camo, you don't know what to do with your steel, wait a week. See what happens. Because if there's still like, okay, let's say there's 200 of the new furs out there, and by then we've minted 7,000 of the 12,000 Quokkas, but there's still 180 new furs not taken, because you can go on OpenSea, you can see what's out there.
Mm-hmm.
So go on, take a look at it. And if there's still 180 of those, then you have a much better chance and you're easier to make a decision than you did on day one. Now, if you're looking to get things above and you see that on day 5, everything's taken, that most of all the diamonds are gone, all the animal blacks are gone, all the new furs are gone, and you say, okay, well, I don't want to chance this anymore because I have a better chance of going lower than I do of going higher, then I'm going to take my 50-50 on my digi. So keep that in mind. That's the one where that's a game in the middle. The top is easy, the bottom's easy. The game and the value is in the middle, in beaches, purple haze, digi camo, regular camo, steel, and Roy G. Biv. That's where the game is made, but that's also where value is made. So when I see you in person on the 8th, most of what we're going to talk about is that middle group, because the other ones, they're no-brainers. So let's go talking about the third group. The less rare, less value. Now you see a significant drop in price over time versus these. So where we had an average price of the middle group somewhere around 0.63, you have an average price of this group around 0.38 to 0.41. So you got a 0.2% drop here, and they're all the same. Every single one of them falls within 0.38 to 0.41. There's no difference in these. So if you have light brown, dark brown, gray, blue, white, pink, or black, if you have any Quokkas with that, the investment value of them is the same, no matter which one of those you have. Now, if you like your blue Quokka and you want to pair them with another blue Quokka, have fun, man. That's not what I'm here to say. But if you're looking, you have nowhere to go but up. So why not spin the wheel? You're not going to hurt or help your investment value by getting any of those first. But you do have a good chance of getting one in the middle group. You have a very low chance of getting one in the top group, but why not take the chance? Because you are not hurting your investment value any way you do it within that group. So there's a definite on one end, there's a definite on the other end, and there's a game to be played in the middle. But the game is where the money is made. So if you have light brown, dark brown, gray, blue, white, pink, or black, spin the wheel, bro. Because you might as well take your chances. If you don't, if you like them, match them. But if you're looking for value, if you're looking to move up, if you're looking to get something more rare, then that's my advice. So once again, that was a lot to unpack there. So
I want to say this real quick, man. For all our listeners out there, if this is a little bit too complicated to understand, it's 1-800-POSITIVE-Q here for you. Small consultant fee, and he will figure all this out for you.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm gonna charge 0.1 ETH, and I will actually do your matching for you. How about that?
Dude, I love that. You're hired. Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, I'll be at the vet. I'll walk out with more money than the founders. Sorry, Ferno. But that's my advice. Now that was a lot to unpack. I am available at any time for anybody to DM me to talk about this. I will be at the In Live event. If you're not going to be there, there's some great people in our community that I've met that just aren't there, like Ranger. He's down in Florida. I do not know or if he's coming up. I hope he does. But if he doesn't, then Ranger, reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you about it. I said that quick so that we're not on here for 2 hours, but believe me, I could talk about it for 2 hours. And the other thing I was thinking is maybe next week I'll jump on Spaces with Bizzle, kind of go over that again, and we'll talk about it. But definitely I'm looking forward to meeting everybody, talking about it on the 8th, And if you have any questions about what I just unpacked, was a whole lot of value. But really what we're going to focus on is the middle section. Then please reach out, and I'm more than happy to go over it with you. So
Yeah,
I now have to take a breath and get a drink of water, and we are good.
And one last time,
thank you very much.
1-800-POSITIVE-Q here for you.
That's that was an incredible breakdown. I mean, just hearing going through every single sale as you did and just figuring out these numbers. I mean, it's awesome to know that this is it's data-based information as well. So
everything's math at the end of the day.
That's right. Yep. All right. Well, you mentioned our guest, and he is on the line right now. So please join me in welcoming our today's guest, Bro-ba Fett. How you doing, buddy?
I am doing fantastic. After that whole positive Q rant, though, my brain is a little bit hurting.
Sorry, bro.
I want to throw a question at you before you even take your sip of water and catch your breath.
All right.
Now, what if I have one zombie and one gold? Is there any thought of just putting them together to guarantee one of them?
Yes. If I had two in that top group, I had one zombie and one gold, I would absolutely put them together, because you're guaranteeing yourself a top tier Quokka kid. Okay. Because anything else, you got a better chance of going down.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's a great question. I had that same question for positive Q a few weeks ago, because I have a white animal. My son has a black animal. And so I think we're just going to pair the two and see what comes out. So.
Absolutely. Because you do a 50-50 or a spin of the wheel, you literally got an astronomical chance of going down. It basically breaks out that your chances of staying within that top tier, even with the new furs, are only 11%. So you have an 89% chance of moving down.
Yeah.
So I do have all these broken down to percentages of going up and going down as well, but I didn't want to actually explode everybody's brain today. But you have an 89% chance of going down if you have two within that top bracket.
Yeah, that's impressive. That's great. I think you guys need to maybe set up a booth for our September 8th event, and even maybe ZarCast live and answer
that would be cool.
Dude, heck yeah, that would be awesome.
I'm sure people will have major stat questions for you.
We would love to do that. We've talked about that privately, just saying like, hey, we got to pick a time and a place where we could do a live show. We have some fun ideas about that. So yeah, maybe we'll see about
when these it's like when these sports radio stations go to the draft, and do live shows from inside the draft.
Do live shows. People can come up, show us what they minted. It'd be awesome.
I love it. We're gonna have to get some nice microphones, so we look legit.
and who knows, maybe we'll have our t-shirts on by then.
Yes.
All right. So tell us about your journey at this point in Tribe Quokka. How did you get involved? What were some of the early challenges for the art department? When did you know this was going to be successful? Was there like a moment when Doc was like, I said no double XIs, and you pounded the table and the XIs are going in or I walk, like that meme we always see with the American Chopper people. So take us behind the scenes a bit about those early days.
All right. So I was, going back, I was actually the last founder added to the crew. I guess really they were having almost like an open competition of designing the NFT, and there was a bunch of people doing some illustrations, and then I got a call from good old Dr. Dick Doofus, and he was like, hey, can I talk to you for a bit? And I was like, sure. And he came by. He's like, got a question for you. Do you know what NFTs are? And I was like, yes. At that point, I was creeping more in the fine art, if you want to call them NFTs, not the generative art side of things. And he's like, do you know who the Bored Ape Yacht Club is? And I said, yes. And he's like, all right, last question. Do you know what a Quokka is? And I, ironically enough, kind of had the same story that he tells all the time. about his daughter, kind of asking him if he's ever seen a Quokka, and his answer was no, and then had his whole friggin' epiphany about it. I'm a teacher, art teacher at high school, and a kid 2 days before he asked me took out his phone. He's like, "Did you ever see a Quokka? It's my favorite animal." I was like, "What the heck is a Quokka?" And then he showed me, and I was like, "Ah, it's pretty cool, you know." And then 2 days later, here comes Dr. Dick and asking me that question. And I was like, "Uh-oh, there's something brewing here."
Yeah.
And then, the rest is I started to design, and I designed the original, shell of the Quokka, the logo, sat down with Dr. Dick, had kind of like a one-on-one interview about joining the team. And back then he was recording everything. So he has all those recordings of the initial start of Tribe Quokka, which one day will be hysterical to go back and listen to, I'm sure. But yeah, then we just got the ball rolling. It was pretty hard, but we brought on, a couple of people to help with the art, and I can't thank especially enough everyone who helped in the beginning, but especially Carly and Julia. Without those two ladies, the art team would be nothing, really. I mean, they are fantastic. They don't get enough credit. I wish they would come out more on Discord and Spaces and all that stuff, so they can get more credit than they are getting. But they deserve a lot of love.
Man, I listen. I remember pre-mint, like Dick Doofus sharing that you guys were screening like thousands and thousands of images and like basically voting, right, until you figured out the chosen 8,000.
Yeah, we look, and you thanked your lovely wife before, and I'll start there. Our wives, God bless them, especially in the beginning of getting this thing off the ground, because there are weeks that we were not spending time with our families trying to get this thing going.
Yeah.
But we looked at the collection. We probably looked at 12,000 to 15,000 Quokkas like 4 times, sitting on my couch, a couple times with my wife, a couple times with my daughter, who actually caught a major mistake in the last run that I guess our old eyes didn't see, and she saw from all the way across the room. She's like, "Wait a second, is there a hole in that Quokka?" And we're like, "Oh my God, thank God that didn't go into the collection."
That's awesome.
Yeah, so yeah, days like that were long. The nights were long, looking at each one of those to make sure they are okay or we didn't like them. But that whole beginning was such a learning process for every one of us. And now things did get easier with knowing like what we actually have to do. The work is still the work. So, and yes, we did get into fights. They weren't more like fights. They were more like bargaining. It was like, I want this out of the collection, and it would be like, all right, you could have that out of the collection if you leave this in the collection. It was more fun bantering and bargaining that way.
See, and you guys brought that story up last night on Bizzle Spaces about the ski mask, and I immediately my ears perked up on that. I was like, yeah, that's the kind of stuff I like to hear about. How you wanted that trade in, and Doc didn't think that really fit, and he didn't like covering up that much of a face of a Quokka, and you were like, no, this is really cool, and how you hope to one day work that back in. That was going to be one of the questions, was there a trait? And you answered it last night on Spaces. That
there was like that, and then there were some. There's traits that didn't make the cut, and they're still in a folder on the Google Drive. And I think we had a Spaces a long time ago with Carly and Julia, the two ladies I spoke about before, and he asked Dr. Dick asked them, or someone asked them, "Are you disappointed that is there a trait that you're disappointed didn't make the cut?" And Carly, I think, came out and said, "Yeah, the Mexican poncho." She goes, I worked so hard on that, and I started dying laughing because that was one of the ones that Dr. Dick bargained for getting out of the collection, and I loved it. And I was like, I told you. So yeah, I think we're gonna have to bring that one back, maybe with a certain legend that was kind of mimicked after to begin with, like a Dirty Harry legend.
Oh yeah, there you go. What's that? Outlaw Josie Wales, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So I hope someday those recordings get released. That would be so much fun to listen to.
So I remember the first conversation was actually hysterical. So
yeah. And also, hey, maybe a future drop is like the deleted scenes on a DVD, like the deleted Quokkas, and you just get another raffle, get a 1 of 1 with some of those. That would be cool. So speaking of those traits, is there a particular trait that made it in that you just love it when you see it on a Quokka?
I've always said from the beginning, the old school glasses are one of my favorites. I mean, I could speculate why. Like, I grew up listening to like the 80s and 90s hip hop, and it reminds me of Run DMC, LL Cool J, like that kind of thing.
Yep.
I just love the look of them, and maybe because it has one of my favorite pair of eyes, the WTF eyes, where it's like looking back. It has that underneath it as well. So I love that combination. Just love that look. And I'm with I think Positive Q said it. I like those clean looking Kawaka's, like I don't need a lot of stuff on mine.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I think that was definitely a Positive Q comment back in.
I actually look more, maybe it's an artist thing. I like when the colors match, like the background. Like I'm looking at one right on the floor right now that should not be on the floor. That camo that sold for like 0.2.
Oh, tragic. Yep.
The other day. Well, now it's on OpenSea as we're recording this at 0.42.
Yeah, he's actually the lowest in the collection. If I had done one, he'd be on there. It's a camo with like a fire mohawk on it. He's great looking. So
and
yes,
he's got the green eyes with the Tiffany blue green background and the camo green, and it's all and then that flare of that faux hawk, and it's all working for me. So something like that I get attracted to right away.
Very cool. All right, so Genesis Collection, Legends, the D12s, Quokka Kids, Battle Birds. Did you work on all of these? And if so, which one has been like the most fun and which one has been the most challenging?
So as for working, definitely worked more on the Genesis collection when we first started that one. After Genesis, and again, we knew that Carly and Julia could really handle themselves on their own. I went more to the marketing side and art director side, and I helped plan the legends, but those two really did most of, like, I would say 95% of the legend work. I would go in and tweak some things. I would add some logos here and there to like some traits. But for the most part, I'm calling them the legend ladies these days because that's like their thing. The kids, same thing. Worked on the actual image of the initial kid, the shell of it, the layer, and then kind of really took the art director role on that, where these are the traits we want to see. And then I'll go in every once in a while and, do some things on my own or add some things or tweak some things that they've been doing with the traits. And that's the same thing with Dickie's Dozen. I mean, I did like the backgrounds on Dickie's Dozen, and then the girls did the actual docs, and I'll go in and tweak and add to what they do. So I've taken more of the marketing role and more of a founder role after the OG collection. But yeah, I do have a hand in everything. The only one I will say probably won't are the Battle Birds, because they are going to be 3D rendered, and neither myself nor the ladies have that kind of 3D rendering experience. So we are probably, or actually we're in the process of finding someone to help us do those right now.
Oh, all right, cool. All right, so we got a sneak peek preview of the Quokka kids recently. The reaction has been great in Discord. People love them already. So everybody's really excited about this next phase in the collection. Other than the 2 unique furs, is there like one new trait that you think the tribe is gonna like go nuts over? Like, is there something that we're all gonna try to get?
Well, first on the 2 new furs, I know you guys were talking a little bit about it before. I'll tell you right now, they are definitely going to be top 5 rarity furs. They will be within the animal print. They will be up there with those for sure. And we're going to take away from the light brown and dark brown furs to add those in. So we're not going to be taking away from any of the other ones. We're going to be taking away from the commons. As for traits, I mean, I would say they're like halfway done. And I said this on Spaces. The one I really like myself is right now is the backpack filled with spray paint cans.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe again, because the art side of it, I like spray paint a lot. And I just think it's kind of cool. And the direction, like, you know, we were going for with these kids being, you know, just wild, crazy kids and goes along with that whole theme there. So I think that everyone's going to be pretty happy because I think we're going to have more traits than we did in the original collection. Therefore, spreading out, you know, different looks and combinations, and there's going to be a lot of new traits that you've never seen in the OG. I said again last night on Spaces that yeah, we're keeping some of the traits from the original collection and just kind of shrinking them down to fit. But even the ones we're bringing over, we're trying to tweak them a bit. So, you know, laser eyes might be different. The devil wings might be different. You know, stuff like that. We're still trying to change. So it's really a fresh collection.
Nice. Awesome. D22 or Positive Q, did you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question. When you so first of all, thank you, man, for everything you do. I mean, I can't imagine those first couple months where you guys were just grinding and truly an entrepreneurial spirit. You know, you went out there and just friggin' made it happen. And like, people don't see that effort. Like, you're just like you said, man, your wife, your kids, and you're out there hustling and doing your thing. And yeah, and thank God, it's paying off big time. Tribe Quokka is man, a force to be reckoned with in the space in such a short period of time. But yeah, thank you for all you do. And my question was with the legends. So if since it's a 1 out of 1 and we're pairing the legend with the fur, I guess, do you get it immediately? Like does it reveal immediately, or do you guys work on it once you see which ones you paired with?
So that is a great question. And actually, I had to go out to dinner with Doc last night, and our car ride was all about basically that. So I think that when you pair your legend with your OG, you're basically going to get a placeholder on OpenSea that might have a picture of like a stork with a Quokka kid in it. And yeah, they're going to be true custom 1 of 1. So you're probably going to have to wait a little bit to get those while the artists kind of mock those up.
Wow. Okay, cool. I mean, should we start submitting? Like, if I'm 100% sure what I'm going to pair, just send it over to the Haka Lab email. You know what I mean?
Again, we talked about that. So yeah, I guess the quicker you pair them, once that, website connection page is up, I guess the quicker you pair it, the quicker you get in the front of the line, and the quicker you get your 1 of 1.
That's awesome, dude. I'm so excited for that. And then one other question. What happens if, and I'm not sure if you have this answer, but I have 2 of my Quokkas that were stolen from someone else, and I bought them on OpenSea, and now they have a flag on them. Will I have an issue pairing those? Like, it's, you know what I mean?
I would say you probably won't have an issue of pairing them, but to get that flag off, do you know who flagged them? Did you flag them?
No, I didn't. I mean, I bought them on OpenSea, and then friggin', 1 or 2 weeks later, when all that mess went down, like, out of my collection,
Oh.
I have 2 of them that were flagged, and now it has just a red, alert that you can't sell or trade or transfer.
So that's that's way out of my pay grade, but
Yeah, I figured I'd
don't-
ask, but yeah, okay, maybe.
I don't think you'll have trouble pairing them at all. But there is a way to get that flag removed. If you know who you bought them from, that person can lift that flag.
Well, no, because the wallet that I bought it from, that's the wallet that has the red check mark. What they do, OpenSea is terrible at this. I've heard a lot of people complain. Like, if you buy a stolen item, like, most probably the thief is gonna sell it real quick. Then his wallet, then whoever he stole it from flags that wallet that stole it. But then once it's flagged, that wallet, the dude already sold it on the open market because they'll put it at floor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you're screwed with the stolen NFT.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the
I
flag
gotcha.
goes away after a while, but you will not have a problem
Pairing
pairing.
it. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Awesome. Thank you.
No, I had one or two quick ones actually. So my first one is actually D22 asked it because I got the Babe Ruth legend, which is absolutely going with my diamond, and I cannot wait to see because it's going from black and white to color as well. So I'm gonna have a colored diamond Babe Ruth, so Quokka kid. So I think that's gonna be awesome. But my question was, and it's just something I've always wondered because as we know, when you talk to Brett, Dr. Dick, he definitely is about kids and family and all that. But we're all adults making a collection. And I was curious if you went through just in a funny aspect, is there some trait you guys put together, something you were looking at that was just like risque and you're looking at it like, man, I'd love that, but it's just not kid friendly, but it's really, really funny.
For the kids?
No, not for the kids. I'm sorry, for the Genesis.
Yeah, so something that came up last night, he talked about it. It was actually, if you were at the first event when he kind of announced everything in
I was there,
December.
yeah.
So he brought it up in the story last night that the first 3 Quokkas that they showed, one of them had the tongue open or the tongue out, and that trait's still in there. The mouth is open, the tongue is out.
Yeah.
But originally that had a tab of acid on the tongue.
I did not know that. I don't remember that from then. But
And that was one where when we were finalizing the collection, he was like, I think we got to take the tab of acid off. It had like a little yellow smiley face on it. And I understood where he was coming from. At that point, I don't think we were like all gung-ho about the kids and all this. He knew he wanted to get kids involved and all that, but we were still, about putting whatever we wanted in the collection. But I think as time went on, the collection drop got closer and closer. He was like, we need to take that tab of acid off the tongue.
that's cool. That's funny. I don't remember that. I was at that first event. I remember I got a call that day. I've told this story before, and Dan Williams said, let me know. And he said, hey, come down to Miles's place. It's like this investing thing. I'd never heard of NFTs. And by the end, I still wasn't sure. I just remember telling Miles the next day that like if you needed me to invest $600, you could have sent me a text. That that would have gotten it done. But but it's been a lot of fun since.
Yeah, man, it's been great. Love it. Love our community. Love you guys. I call you as part of the grinder group. You guys are grinding, doing your thing, as you brought up before. Bizzle, all those guys. Mag 7, they're always on Spaces. So kudos to our grinders out there. I know I'm missing a bunch of them, but
Yeah, shout out to King of Mars too, man. He's really stepped it up on the Quokka Czar. Like he's just grinding in the Czar and also buying and selling, making deals left and right. So yeah, Hodler as well. We had him as a guest, but yeah, he's always on the move as well.
Yeah, we love our grinders.
Listen, man, I'm all about a t-shirt. So TQ grind, I'll take it.
Hey, look, Positive Q dropped the ball on that.
I found that I did not send that. So yeah, that's on me, guys. Sorry.
Oh.
I got their sizes and they were not sent. I thought I did, but they were not. So
we could still get you some t-shirts.
Yeah, the shirt looked awesome. All right, so Muhammad Ali, Marilyn Manson, ZZ Top, Billy Joe Armstrong, Neo from The Matrix, all suggested as future legends by our previous guest. We love all of those ideas. So with Bro-ba Fett as your Discord name, is that the legend you would want created next, or is there someone else you have in mind?
It's actually not the legend I would want if I really wanted one. And like I sat back and watched on the first collection legends drop. I didn't bid, I didn't win one. I don't know why, but maybe it's because I make the legends list and I know what's coming down the pipe. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I'm a big sports guy, and I'm a big old, like I said, old school rap, old school like 90s rock and stuff like that. So I would kind of gravitate toward there, but we also have a category that kind of gets overlooked, I think, which is like the history and arts and culture. And there might be like an artsy one that, someone might not be taking a look at down the road that, has more meaning to me, that maybe I'll scoop up. But as for the general masses, I don't have one, but any like old school hip hop, like a Run DMC, or one Halloween I went as Humpty Hump, if you remember that rapper.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Like I would love to see one of those really fun ones. And I told Doc the other day, if I want to buy a legend too, I want to buy one that I think there's a person out there that I could just constantly throw that legend at them on Twitter. Like I said, if I was going to buy one from last collection, I would have went hard after the Steph Curry, because I know he's into NFTs, and I would have just kind of thrown it right at him kind of every day at Twitter until he noticed me. So really, I don't have like one that I want to see, and I think that's partially because I'm the one coming up with the lists. So everything I put out there, I kind of like anyway.
Right. Makes perfect sense. All right. Yeah, but we like that suggestion anyway. All right. Well, it was awesome having you on as a guest. We can't thank you enough for all the hard work you did in those early days. The collection's amazing. We always talk about how the art is such a major part of this NFT collection, and we love it. We just we talk about how we look at some of them and they just make us smile, or we have a reaction. I saw someone on Discord that I guess is kind of new to our group trying to trade for some from another collection, and I suggested why don't you just pair one of your lesser Quokkas with that other collection and maybe get a better Quokka. And his reaction was, I love the Quokkas I have too much. I'll never let them go. So, I think a lot of us have those feelings towards our Quokkas. So that's, a credit to all the artwork and that you did. So thank you very much. And thank you for joining us. Positive Q, D22, thank you again for your research today and your hard work. And if you don't have anything else to say, I'll see you guys next week.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Bro-ba. Always good to talk to you. Guys, I will see you soon. Thank you, Tribe Quokka.
All right. Yeah, man. See you at the Zar. And thanks for everything. Thanks, Bro-ba. And yeah, man. Love you guys. Have a great day.
Yeah, I want to just last say, you guys say the artwork. I think it's community, and I think it's people like you driving this force. We are a rock. Our roots are so strong. We are going to come out of whatever this bear market is. We are going to come out smelling like roses. I know that for a fact because of our community.
Wow, thank you. We appreciate that a lot. All right, well, that concludes episode 7 of the ZarCast. Everybody have a fun and safe week, and we will see you soon.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you. Have a good one.
See ya.